You can't be distracted when he's talking today. You got to write this down like it's the only time you're going to see it. And think like this, guys, right? Because we're pitchers, not cups. We're pitchers, not cups. I am learning this. What am I learning to turn around and teach to somebody else today, right? The only way that it clicks in your mind is if you go, I learned it, I wrote it out, and now I'm teaching it. And your retention goes through the roof. Your confidence goes through the roof. Your belief in yourself goes through the roof, right? Repetition's the mother of all learning. So Coach Wayne, you got the floor. Thank you so much for being who you are. We love you. You're the greatest of all time. Let's go.
All right. Good morning, y'all. How we all doing?
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
It's just
Morning.
incredible to see everybody here on today. Boy, you'll be pinching yourself that hopefully, because I was in deep prayer this morning. I have a men's group. I always get up real early on Saturdays. And God spoke to me. And I said, there's somebody here, if it's not one to two, that this was your given nugget that you're going to need to explode your business. I love what we were just talking about a few minutes ago about the 50 by 50. Kind of paints a picture. Sometimes you hear things differently in Primerica. And because obviously, we're a crock pot of a lot of people here from different walks of life, but just food for thought. And Bob, you probably agree with me on this. If you average a 10 by 10 base shop, you can get this business on autopilot in about 20 to 30 years. Now, some of you are already depressed because I said that, okay? Now listen closely. You average a 20 by 20 base shop, you can get it done in about 15 to 20 years. But if you average a 30 by 30 base shop, now the 50 by 50, it's going to be over like quick. But if you average a 30 by 30, 8 to 10 years, everything's on autopilot. And the term autopilot means it's unbreakable. I mean, really, it's like solid. And for some of the veterans on the Zoom today, you probably know, I mean, we have this on autopilot, but it took a while because we averaged a 10 by 10. So the conclusion is, how quickly do you want to get it done? Okay, so I just want to piggyback on top of it. I think that's some powerful information. But to get on, let me share my screen real quick and tell you what I think God's going to be revealing to a lot of us here this morning. I'm excited to share this with you. This is a lot of trial and error that you're going to see here this morning. Can everybody see that? Aaron, is that coming through? Okay, good.
It's perfect.
All right, perfect. Okay, great. Because technology here, Rebecca's not here. She's at home. So I'm glad this is working. Okay, so as we get going here, I think what you're going to notice is it's the simplest, it's the little things, which we call techniques, that can really launch your confidence level. Because if you really dissect every man and every woman in Primerica, probably the number one reason why they don't go full time and start living the dream life or run a 30 by 30. And you guys came back from the West Coast convention, and you know this from the great legend of Hector Lamarck, that if you don't learn how to close and overcome objections, then you can go do the song and dance and the woo-woo and wears t-shirts, but doggone it, this is about what are you trying to duplicate? Okay, so hopefully what I'm going to work with you today is to give you some techniques, some key things that you can walk away with that hopefully will revolutionize and take yourself, not only included, but your whole team, and let's duplicate it. I want to set the tone a little bit for our key leaders. I think it's important to understand this, that you want to make sure you're in line with your leader. One of the biggest dangers I found in the past, and I'm raising my hand here, is we would see something that was magical and we go back home and we revamp our entire system. I do not want you to do that. Okay, this is, look, take a nugget here or so, but always be in line with your leader. That's very, very important. Be 100% committed. I'm going to tell you right now, you can take the greatest techniques today, but if you're not 100%, not 99, 100% committed, it ain't going to work. People follow you. And if they see that you're not committed, they won't, I don't care what comes out of your mouth. Make sense? Okay. Number three, it's not a one size fits all. Okay. Some here have been legends in Primerica, don't even use the financial needs analysis. Now, my professional opinion, you're going to hear this all throughout this morning, is I don't know how you can do it without it. Okay. And I'm going to go through this a little bit here as we kind of go through the process. Number four, make a carburetor adjustment, but don't do an overhaul. I think I kind of covered that already. People buy you, not the company. Primerica cuts the checks. Primerica is a resource, right? Would we all agree? And it's a great company to represent. But people buy you. It's I Incorporated. Oh, that's another thing. Make sure you take notes. By golly, I tell you, there's going to be something that'll pop out and you're going to be like, man, that was good. I Incorporated. When you get up in the morning, you have to have the attitude that it's you. Okay. You're the representation of the company. Make sense? That's why that's a whole nother topic. We'll go into that later. Okay. People always buy emotionally and they back up their purchase logically. The danger behind Primerica is we're so unique. We're so incredible logically that sometimes that's all we focus on, like buy term best difference. That just makes sense. You're an idiot if you don't do right, if you don't do buy term and best difference. And sometimes we portray it that way and it comes off incorrectly in our form of communication because people buy emotionally and they back up their purchase logically. So we're going to cover a lot of this as we go through it today. If you're taking notes or if you want to take a picture, this is what's going to be covered. And I'm so glad we are recording this right here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. You'll want to cross-reference this. I believe it in my heart. Like I said, when we first started, this has been trial and error. It's just the mistakes. You're going to see how where I got as a base shop and as a leader. I've had a world of mistakes, Bob, so I know exactly what works. Okay. So okay, that's enough on that. Okay. But here we go. Here's what's going to be covered today. Data collection and the commitment, which I believe is the sole reason for why people do not close the sale, except for being in the wrong market. If you're in the wrong market, then that's a whole nother topic. But if you're in the right market, if you get the right commitments on the data collection, game over. The rest of it's just painting the picture. I'm going to talk briefly about the data input, putting it into the FNA. I'm going to talk about presenting the financial needs analysis, how to do it, how to close, how to utilize that tool, how to use the resources at your disposal to make sure you can win. My favorite topic is the value gap. For those new people on the phone, this is everything. Price is not the issue. It's the value you bring to the table. That's why I said you have to be 100% committed. Value is everything. And last but not least, lifetime client relationships. There's one more, and that is the 3-box close, which you guys, if you've been on our program for a while, I touched on that, but never came back and shared with you what that is. You will actually be seeing that today. So these are the stuff that we're going to be covering here tonight, this afternoon or morning or wherever you guys are at. But let's start off real quick. I got to make sure everybody's on the same page. This is the beginning process of what we call back in our day, the kitchen table. Now it's a Zoom, it's a meeting. Okay. So when you're together with somebody, you hopefully are working in the right market. So we got a married couple with 2 kids, 36 and 33. Yes, the kids are under the age of 18. Okay. Husband makes $5,000 a month. The wife makes $4,000 a month. Their goal is to retire by 67, both of them. And they want to replace at least 80% of their income at retirement. And both of them are non-tobacco users. Okay. So that's just the gist of the environment and the client we're working with here. Fair enough? All right. So as we get started, everybody has different tools for gathering data. I'm going to be talking about the B$ Smart system, which is the top priorities. Instead of going through the whole B$ Smart, we're not going to do that this morning. I want to talk about what arrived at the end of the meeting. This was the client's top priorities. They have an old 401k they need to roll over. They have they committed to a Roth IRA because they weren't involved in that at $400 a month, which is $200 a piece. And last but not least, they had no life insurance. So they wanted proper protection, and they committed to $125 a month each. So that's $250 per month for life insurance, $400 a month for the Roth and the rollover. Everybody on the same page here. Okay. So this is setting the tone. So commitments are the key, especially if you're new. It took me 2 years, Aaron. I'm like the poster child for doing it wrong. 2 years before I figured this out, because the only training I had is left side, right side. The left side, you got whole life, it sucks. The right side's the right side. This is term. You want some? Is this better? Woo! I'm excited. And that's pretty much my clothesline. Thank God I wasn't teaching back then. You guys would be all in a world of hurt. So closing is done on the first appointment. Now, my process, there is some great people in Primerica that can close and do everything on the first appointment. Amen to you. That's not the way our system is. So you guys got to be on my page as we go through it. It's a two-step process. That came from Art Williams. You know that, Bob. We believe in that because we don't want to be perceived, not that sales is bad, we just don't want to be perceived as a one and done, I'm out of there. So closing still is done on the first appointment. It's just money's not involved. Say it
That's
again.
right.
Closing is done on the first appointment, but money is not involved. People make better decisions when money is not involved. Okay? So watch closely as we go through this. This is how the commitment was done on the alert. A $50,000 old employer 401k from an old employer. You know, these are words that we're accustomed to. If you could present you with a superior program and it's a completely a non-taxable event, would you be open to exploring your options by moving your 401k? To make it easy this morning, they said, absolutely. We just didn't know where to put it. Now, you might have some objections. We don't have time to go in all that. Otherwise, it'll be a 4-hour meeting this morning. But I'm going to tell you, there's areas that you'll need to learn from your coaches, or maybe in future Saturday mornings, how you want to overcome objections. But to make things simpler today, this old 401k has been sitting out there for years. They didn't know what to do with it. So they have no problem. They're open to options. Does that make sense? So you and your coach, whoever you're working with, need to present them with a superior program, okay? Because you got to honor and be committed on what you're going to bring back. The Roth IRA was very revolutionary to them. When we were doing the actual commitments, they didn't realize how it worked. We educated what a Roth was, and you could put away $6,500 per year each, or $541 per month. And some clients want to max it out. Some maybe do $100 a month or somewhere in between. You guys have heard this. How much would you like to invest per month? And they gave a commitment of $200 each. Here's something you might want to write down. Don't just move on after they say, sure, $200 each. You need to ask and reinforce it. If you had to write a check, Aaron, each and every month for $400, could you do it? Could you do it?
Yeah, we could.
Exactly. You got to get that. Look, money's not being involved today, but you got to get a commitment. Are they committed? So that way you don't come back with, and I've told people, sometimes I've had people go, well, I think I'd like to do that. It'd be a good goal. Well, goals are different than reality. Does that make sense? So you have to reinforce and ask that same question over and over until you get a concrete answer. I've had some people say 500, 600, meaning 300 each. And then after I asked it the second time and I used that last sentence there, could you write a check every month? They go, well, we'd probably be better if it was just $100 each. You know what I'm saying? You got to have it, because you tell them that if you come back with a report when we get back together and the numbers are wrong, I've wasted a lot of ink. Does that make sense? We want to make sure that we're doing it exactly the way you want it done. Okay, so they committed to the 200 each. The life insurance, there's some technique coming up here. Watch this closely. Would you say that it's unimportant, important, or very important to protect your family's financial future if you die prematurely? They said very important. Now, if you presented things correctly on how life insurance works, that should be the right answer, at least important. Okay, next, when a responsible family like yours doesn't have life insurance, it's usually due to one of the following reasons. They didn't see a need for it, didn't think they could afford it, or never got around to it. The reason that best describes this family was they never got around to it. That's why they don't own any. They have no life insurance, okay? So, but now you presented the problem. Now we have a solution that we can conquer for this family. Make sense? Okay. Look at this. Here's the technique. Watch closely. I use the dime. I always like to take either a yellow pad out and just calculate it. How much debt we have here? Great. $15,000 for a funeral. Income. If God forbid either one of you passed away, how much percentage per month would you still need to be able to survive if one of you were to pass away? The answer was 75% for 20 years. Mortgage, they'd like to have that paid off. And the education was the lowest priority, so we just zeroed that out. So at least walk out of there with the dime, which is debt, income, mortgage, and education, to make sure you know what kind of proper protection. Here comes the technique. Watch closely. This is something that I've learned. I'm going to tell you, boom, there's going to be somebody that's going to say, that's what I needed this morning. Now watch closely. Here it comes. Okay. How much are you willing to invest each month to make sure your family is adequately protected? Some do a minimum protection, $75 per month each. Some like to be average, which is $125 per month each. And then there's families that want perfect protection for their family, which is $200 per month each. Did anybody grasp what I just did there? Nobody wants the minimum. Few do the perfect, but almost everybody goes. It's kind of funny when you do it, they look at their spouse. I'm speaking from the male perspective, but they look and go, average. And you know what's fun? Even if they pick the minimum, it's still good. You understand what I'm saying? $75 per month each, they're willing to commit. Does that make sense? See, what happens is when you start looking cheap, I can get you the cheapest rate, the cheapest premium. Yeah, you've cheapened the deal, guys, and yourself. You've cheaped everything. You're cheap. Okay, everything's wrong, right? So what we have to do is we're painting the picture. What I love about this is sometimes people will go, well, average is 125. I guess we could do 100 each. You see where I'm going? They might even come up with a number, but look, veterans, tell us, would you be jacked up if you went to a family married couple and they said they could do $100 each? That's $200 a month.
Man, absolutely.
Average. Huh?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
It's like, it's human nature. You just got to kind of know. People who don't own life insurance don't even know what the average cost is. Makes sense? But once you get done painting the picture, and we're going to get to the value gap here in just a minute, oh boy, get ready. They won't even be looking at this price. They're going to want it up no matter what. Here we go. Let's move on. I believe a picture's worth 1,000 words. I always show this with every client I work with. Just an example. I think they need to see an example, especially if you're on the first appointment. I think a picture is worth 1,000 words, like it says. See, we help people reach financial independence. We know life insurance is the foundation of a solid game plan. But if you look at the picture here of this great family, and you're going to laugh, but people who've been on appointments with me always laugh when I say this, but I go, look at this couple with a couple kids. And then meet here. This is an example of what we do for families. You'll notice the blue line at the top has a total package for the family at $854,000 of coverage level for 35 years. We hope that we don't ever have to activate that. But for $124 a month, the whole family's covered. Meanwhile, the 401k is at about 20 grand, putting $100 a month into it. Our job and my responsibility as a professional is to build the green. So that way you can reach financial independence. Like the example shows with this great family, $2.5 million. Make sense? Now there's going to be a crossroads in the middle. As we build our relationship, now remember, they're in their 30s. As we build this relationship and you reach your middle portion in life, 50s, 60s, there's going to come a season where we really need to streamline that insurance and take it down. Everybody see it there with the blue? Take it down. So we want to get to the point where you're self-insured. Question, Mr. Klein. After we help you build 2.5 million in the future, is there really a need for $854,000 worth of coverage? Probably not. Isn't that wonderful that you're going to be working with us? See, we do insurance, we do. But you know why we don't focus totally on insurance? We just know it's the foundation, is because our income, listen closely, this is a little secret here to you. My income, our company's income pays us for building you wealth, not building tons of life insurance policies. So there will become a season when we don't need to talk about insurance anymore, because you're stone wealthy with us. I hope you take that journey with us. I'm looking forward to it. Can you imagine one day when you wake up, you're totally financially independent, you got 2.5 million put away? How's that going to make you feel? This is some big stuff, guys, what I'm sharing with you. See, I got the emotion on. What did I say earlier? People, what I say? Tell us what? People buy.
People buy emotionally. They back it up logically, man.
What emotional did I just show there?
Yeah.
How's it going to feel?
Yeah.
How's it going to feel? Ooh, you see, I'm even getting the goosebumps. Ooh, see, right? Okay, that's selling. And I haven't even picked up a check yet. They won't even ask you what your premium price is. Who cares? I want 2.5 million, right? Okay, we're moving on. So here's the final commitment. My job is to help you reach financial independence, but it will not happen overnight. Myself and our team of specialists are committed to taking this journey with you and your family until you reach total financial independence. If we can show you a personalized strategy where you can use that $400 per month towards the Roth IRA, $250 per month on an average protection for your life insurance, would you allow us to help you implement those solutions when we come back together? Yes. You notice the word? Absolutely. Make sense? We're just making sure they can budget it. $250 per month each, right? Excuse me, $250 a month total, $400 per month total for Roth IRA. Here's another one. Here's a bombshell. Some of you have been waiting for this. Here we go. Here's a golden nugget. This is worth $50,000 right here. After they say yes, you don't pack your bags and just set up an appointment and leave. Here we go. It will be very exciting to have you and your family be part of our team, Team Financial Independence. I can't wait to put this strategy together next time we get together so you can be part of the team. Anybody got goosebumps like me? What are you catching here?
Man, that's phenomenal, man. I love it.
People
That's excellent,
want
man.
to be
That is phenomenal.
part of something. People do not want a salesperson in their life. People do not want to be sold a product. They want to be part of something. People always ask me, how do you get so many referrals? Because they're family. Everybody. Man, I make people feel like I just want to be around that person. And guess what? I'm on the team. I got a jersey. And I don't even know what the hell he sells yet. Make sense?
They like you and they trust you.
And they
Yes.
trust you, right, man. So has everybody got this? When is the sale actually done?
First appointment.
First appointment, everything's done. All you got to do is come back and look pretty. And your RVP can help you do that. Put a proposal together, right? You did the magic right here. See, we could actually shut down the training this morning. This is the whole ball of wax right here. Here we go. Let's move on. Now I'm going to be a little technical. This is for the T's in the room. They're going to be appreciative of what I did here. If you haven't seen where the button is, go to up here to Turbo Apps, right next to Glenn Williams there, right? Okay, Turbo Apps. And then you click on FNA and you key it in. I'm a firm believer using the full financial needs analysis. The neat thing about it is I don't use all the buttons, but as I build a relationship, I'll use all the buttons, the goals and dreams, emergency fund, budgets. I'll do all that, but I don't do that on the first appointment. The second carryback. Okay. So this is the data. Boom, boom. 67 is a default. This is the area on retirement. Retirement goal was what? 80% of their current income, which is $7,200 a month, right? Then we key in their assets. I did gather that they had a current 401k, both him and Mary. And John has that $50,000 rollover, which is right there in the middle. So you key that in. And then I went to the life insurance. They wanted 75% for 20 years. You can see their income's $5,000 and $4,000. And then we put in all the debt. I don't know if you guys know that. You can actually type the debt in here without using the debt button. See where it says debt resolutions at the top? You don't have to use that. Go ahead down right below there. You can just type in how much consumer debt they got, 53,000. How much is their mortgage? You can type all that in. And then put 15,000, I believe, as a default, at least it is on our end. And if you'll notice, I did not check mark the fund education because that wasn't their goal on the dime. Everybody follow me? Okay. So now we're up to the take back. Woo! Aaron, any questions so far or any input, being that you're a senior leader here on the commitment on the first appointment?
I'm just so grateful for everything that you just shared. We have a brand new gentleman in our business, and he is a professional. He is a world-class professional. And Matt comes from the mortgage world, and he looked at this and he was like, this is so easy. Everybody could do it. And I said, yes, you could have everybody watch it. He was like, this is unbelievable. This is incredible. He's never seen a training like this before. This is his first one. Great feedback. It's incredible. Thank you.
Get ready.
You're absolutely right, because I hope no one misses this. I hope nobody misses this part, because just as you said right there, like all of the closing and the commitment was that sweet spot. You're right. We could shut the training down because that's that important.
It's the whole shoot match. It's besides being in the wrong market, it's the number one reason why most people in Prime America struggle and never make money. Mr. Wayne Olson, for the first 2 years, you don't even want to know. It was terrible. I was a poster child for doing it all wrong. But thank God, somebody pulled me aside, and along with other training, which we don't have time to go into, Tom Hopkins, the name, I pulled it together. And it was like, guys, when you get it figured out, which is hopefully what you're doing this morning, man, you'll be smiling from cheek to cheek. You can't wait until you go on the next appointment. You'll be like going, I can't wait. I got to show the magic of what I'm bringing to the table, but you got to be 100% committed. See, if you're sticking your toe in it, people will smell a phony a mile away. All that, excuse my language, I'm sorry, but I do pray every day, but it's bullshit. If you go up there and you start talking like this, like, okay, I'm gonna do all, and then you don't deliver and you don't answer people's phones, right? And you, have the value and all this stuff to back this up. Sorry, I'm getting on a tangent, but that's another one. Commitment's a key factor. Very, very important. Okay, so here's the take back. This is what we do when we put it together. Number one mistake that I've seen people do is they get right into the FNA. They either just start talking about the numbers. They don't look. Things, maybe 4 days have transpired, maybe a week, maybe 2 days. I don't know, whatever your take back is. But you have to recap what you talked about the previous week. I have a perfect story I'd like to share with you. We were doing smart loan debt consolidation, and I went over the data recommitment, and they go, well, I said, has anything changed since the last time we got back together? He goes, yeah, we bought a car. So that commitment we gave you, we don't have that anymore. I'm like, I'm going to kill these people. Okay. But you remember those dollar amounts was gone over the weekend because they had this splurge. I don't know, maybe I did too good of a job talking about they were going to be 2.5 million. I don't know what I did, but they bought something. So I had to do some real quick on the fly change. You got to recap the data you collected the week before. Remember, we talked about doing that rollover for $50,000, as long as it's better. You said, yes, no problem. And what I do is I have it written down. I'll have it on my yellow pal say, you said, yes, no problem. Okay. Remember, we talked about the Roth, $400 a month total, which is $200 each. And you said, if you could write a check each month, you said you could do it, $400, right? Right. Okay. Life insurance. Remember, I remember it was a little hesitant when we were talking about average protection, but that's okay. It's a lot better than no protection. $125 per month each, total of $250 per month. You indicated no problem. As long as you get people to do this, then you go to the next page. If they don't recommit, I have literally, please don't do this because it's not, how do you say this nicely? Your RVP will be pissed out of you if you're like a professional. I didn't show the FNA, but the FNA, I wish I had one in front of me here. I got it over there and there. Okay. I got an FNA. I don't give that to them unless they commit. They're not getting the book. Okay. It's as simple as that. Now look, that is not your goal. If you don't ever deliver books and show people the path to financial success, you screwed up. It's not the client's fault. Okay. Makes sense? All right, here we move on. So let's get started with your blueprint to financial independence. Here's another golden nugget. I call it a blueprint. Why? If you're a building contractor, how would the house or the skyscraper look if they didn't have a blueprint? Holy moly, I wouldn't want to live there. Can you imagine the contractor showing up and they go, yeah, the bathroom's somewhere over there, the kitchen's over to the right. I don't know, however you feel, just wing it. Isn't that what most people do with their finances? Well, no, we're not going to wing your finances. We're going to put a blueprint step by step on how to reach that financial independence. You might even want to recap with this picture if you want. And that's the one that we just showed earlier. You might want to start off with this right there, that picture there. Okay. Sometimes they need to reinforce that when you go over their recommitment and you start to go through their data and you say, hey, remember you said no problem, no problem, no problem. Okay, cool. All right, up to here. Starts with the financial needs analysis. Here's the pretty picture on the beginning. But now let's talk about the value gap. My value back in the early days was not good. I didn't know it at the time. I kind of joked about it earlier, left side, right side. I didn't know at the end of the day, I thought I was bringing value, but really what I was just bringing was a cheap product that was better than what they thought was their Mercedes, what they thought was a good program. I think I did a pretty good job at destroying it. But what I noticed with some people is since they buy emotionally and they back up their purchase logically, it'd be like heading over to your friend's house from church and you're just making them feel like crap that they just spent $80,000 on a Mercedes. I can't believe you did it. You must be like a freaking moron. What the hell? Why don't you get a Chevy like me? It goes from point A to point B. What the hell are you doing? 80 grand? You gotta be kidding me, right? Can you imagine? Do you think your friend would love for you to come back over and visit again? You think they'd like to hang out with you because you just put them down for spending $80,000 on a vehicle? No. What value do we bring to the table? It starts with the value gap. Your job as a professional is to increase that. Go through the top, like all the way to the top. It's got to be so oozing out of you that they want it and they don't even understand it. Why? I always wondered about this. Sorry, I'm on tangent, but I could never figure out how the heck do these scumwad life insurance agents sell this crap? Because they didn't sell it logically, right? They sold it as an unbelievable package. And people buy into it. Here we go. I call it the Lexus experience. Some of you that have been around me with in the security side, I've shared with this before, but it is everything. The reason why I call it the Lexus experience, if you've ever gone to a Lexus dealership and you walk out spending 50, 80, I'm gonna have to update this slide. That's not high enough. It'd probably be 60, 70,000 for a Lexus today. But why do people spend so much money on a vehicle? Look at this picture here. One car is 36,000, the other is 50, probably 60 today. Everybody grabbing? So probably 40,000 would be the cheap one and 65 to 70,000 would be the expensive one. When you look at both of them, now there's some technical people in the room know which one it is. But one's a Toyota and one's a Lexus. Interesting. Quite a different price, isn't there, between both of them? So logically speaking, when you look at the vehicle, besides the rims, looks like the same thing to me. Does that make sense? Well, let's dive into it. One has 1 extra horsepower. One of them has 1 extra inch of headspace, slightly nicer seat, but it's how they felt when they bought it. Remember, people buy emotionally, back up their purchase logically. I remember one time, I'm a sucker. My wife never lets me buy cars anymore. God love her, because she says, Wayne, you suck at it. Maybe it's because I'm in sales. Put it this way, I don't get good deals, okay? Okay, but here's what happens. I go in and I got my mindset of what I'm gonna spend, which is 50 grand, and then I walk out with $80,000 vehicle, and I'm thinking, why'd you do that? It was the way he made me feel. I just felt like I can justify the other 30 grand. Make sense? It was the way I felt. Watch closely. If you've never been to a Lexus dealership, they always talk about the car last. They always talk about the car last because they don't want you to come in logically, because otherwise you just buy a Toyota. Here we go. The service is the key to Lexus. Did you know Lexus, it's funny here, but I'm sure you guys got a story, but do you know it's an embarrassment to Lexus to have a car on the side of the road broken down with the Lexus symbol? And if you think about it, you don't really see that very often, unless it's a 1990 Lexus or something. But if it's 2000 or above, you don't see them parked on the side of the road. Now, there might be one person that will interrupt me in a minute and go, yeah, that's true. It has happened. I'm not saying it's impossible. It just, that's not their motto. Do you know that their service is wrapped around their new cars? They want to make sure their customers feel like a guest, that what comes with the car is a total package, service included, oil changes for life. You know, pick you up from the side of the road if something accidentally happens. We ain't having the cars sit out there. Here's a number, call, we'll take care of it. Make sense? Service center is centered around them. Do you know that there's a convenient way Lexus associates and employees stand by? They just stand by what the desire to do the things right from the start. They strive to have the finest dealership network in the industry. Most importantly, they treat each customer like they treat a guest in their own home. Means paying attention to details, anticipating what the guests need, applying the same level of care and thoughtfulness to each moment in the dealership that'll put into that vehicle. That's what makes the Lexus experience unlike others. Look, there's other dealerships that probably have it. I just use Lexus as one of the examples. They got a vehicle delivery specialist. They got a technology specialist. They got the Lexus collection. You can get the whatever, that watch. I don't wear watches, but you know what I'm saying? You get this feeling that when you walk out of there, I can justify paying an extra 30 grand. Am I the only one getting this morning? Look, I'm like going, man, I get like unbelievable. What can we learn from the Lexus experience? People buy emotionally and they back up their purchase logically. So when you're presenting the FNA, how are you presenting it? How are you focused on? Are you focused on multiple choice answers? Okay, we can do it for this, we can do it for that, we can do it for this, what you want? Which one you want? No, I remember I went on a carryback one time, this was years ago, for a guy that was brand new security licensed. He'd been to several trainings, and Bob, you'll be flipped out. I had to observe him, so I took my yellow pad along to see how well he was doing. And he brought out Franklin Templeton, Van Kampen there. He brought out Lincoln Financial, annuity. And there was about 5 options there. And he goes and he looks at the client. He goes, which one do you want? I'm over there dying. I'm like, you know what they said? They paused for a while. They looked at each other and then they go, well, you're the expert. I don't know what I'm supposed to have, right? Oh, God, I tell you. All right, that's multiple choice. Product, they focus on product. See, that car with Lexus came last. That was the last thing. How does that make you feel? Look at you sitting in the car. Look at how the seats just contour to your ass. Isn't it just unbelievable? Don't you just feel so good? Do you imagine what your neighbors are going to think when they, right? Man, when you pull up in that, they're going to be envious of you. Man, right? And then they back it up with what? Logic by saying, hey, we got a sale going on, 20% off, right? Here we go. Selling. See, people with price issues are always selling. They're like this massive salesperson at the end. Let's close the deal. Let's close the deal. They're a one in and out. They're like fly in, fly out, right? See, transaction oriented. We live in a transaction society that sickens me. It's like, next, right? Next, okay, right, right? You getting this? Okay, customers, right? Versus what? Clients. Do it yourself and DIY. So listen, qualifying is the key. Now, there's somebody's going to get this morning on the value. See, my clients, because we do so well on building the value gap, they actually have made comments in the middle of my first time presentation by going, I hope we qualify because we really want to be part of this. I want to be part of the team. Man, I hope I can be part of the team. Like, everybody, say, guys, literally, when people leave, ask, especially Rebecca, ask people around me, I start to laugh. It's funny, not in a bad way. It's just, I'm laughing because it's human nature. Once you understand human nature, Primerica's a blast. Primerica's fun, but you have to back it up 100%. This ain't a game, okay? Second, it's the process. See, Aaron, there's a process with being part of the team here at Primerica.
Right.
We're going to work with you every step of the way. This is just step one, which is the insurance and the foundation. We're into the areas of problem solving, and there will be many that will hit you out of left field. But because we're taking this journey together, I want you to be the first person that calls is me or my staff. We're here to solve it. I'm one phone call away. We'll fix this problem, okay? I believe in lifetime relationships. I want to work with you every step of the way and get to know your kids and when your anniversary is, and right, and then your golden years of retirement, and pass that legacy on to your kids. You see how I'm building the value? Okay, client versus customer. We have a team of experts like you wouldn't believe that can get all your answers, right? All your questions answered. See, price is only an issue in the absence of value. Here's some you might want to write down. You cannot have cheap and value together. Never works. Primerica will never be, and I hope not, I hope to God not, be the cheapest. Because let me give you something you might want to write down. If you ever get up one morning, you're ticked off that the price with Primerica's term insurance is too freaking expensive, they can solve it pretty easily. Cut your commission. Well, that means you're worth exactly what you're worth, nothing. Okay, why? Because you're selling off price. Right? Is everybody catching this? Man, I'm telling you, when you got value, people don't shop around for you. They're not going to look, well, let me go check around. Let's see if there's something cheaper out there. Right? I don't have that issue because you bring the package. Here we go. Now back to the value. So with that being said, how do you increase the value gap? Now, looking at this funny slide to the left is the financial house. You'll notice there's no numbers on it. If you're a T here on the Zoom this morning, you're probably disappointed because you want to get to the technical numbers so you can start talking about it. I spend sometimes a minute or two, maybe 3 minutes on this page, talking about the relationship and what's involved as we take this journey together. A building contractor builds the foundation. We look at areas that we resolve and help build. So someday when this house project is done, you're looking at your spouse going, thank God. Thank God. I love it, right? That feeling, that emotion. So step one is right, the protection management, debt management, and we start building on that. Here's some key things. Once I get the whole page filled up, you'll want to take a photo of this. Okay. Long-term relationships. That's one nugget that you can build in your value gap. We're here to build your net worth. My job as a professional, Kellis, is to build your net worth. Matter of fact, my fee for service is figured into building financial independence. That's the way I get paid. You're probably wondering, how does Wayne get paid? We're not doing this for free. You're right. My motivation is to help build financial independence for you and your family, because the bigger that pile grows, the more I get paid. See, the bigger an insurance agent's pile grows only if you combine, if you you build tons of policies. Right? The more life insurance policies you buy, the more money they make. We're the opposite. The more we build your net worth, the closer you get to financial independence. Right? That I get paid. So isn't that cool to work with somebody where you know how their pay works? See, that's how we get paid. This is just not a one-night event. See, people hate salespeople because it comes across as a one and done. I'll never see that guy ever again. No, man. Matter of fact, you're going to see a lot of me. I hope you like me because we're going to talk a lot. And they look at me, they sometimes they'll even know what to say. They'll kind of, yeah, I guess that would be pretty cool. I'm like, I don't know what's going through their mind when I say that, but man, we're going to have some fun together. Okay. I always like throwing the word fun in there. Personal representative is just like a personal trainer. I got to look at your goals. Not every trainer, when you walk through, I have a great guy on my team. His name's Eli. He's a personal trainer. And can you imagine if his goal, his own personal goal was to make everybody like Arnold Schwarzenegger? I mean, it'd be like people, I mean, can you imagine going to that personal trainer, all of a sudden, we're going to make you buff, biceps like this, and they're looking at going, I don't want that. That's not my goal, right? See, a personal representative is like a personal trainer. We need to figure in what their goals are, We work with you to achieve all your goals. And then my favorite part is to pass this on to the next generation. One of these days, I'm going to have an opportunity, if Aaron allows me to do this, I'll show you one of the greatest bombshells ever on how to get passive referrals. We've heard of passive income, but passive referrals is this key right here at the bottom. Next generation, especially if you're an old fart like me. You don't want to see your AUM go away. It needs to be passed on to the next generation. So we put key turnkey systems in place to pass that legacy on. Unbelievable. Okay, that's another topic. Okay, value gap. So how many people, raise your hand. I only can see a few of you here because I'm on PowerPoint, but how many people are starting to understand the value? And we haven't even got to numbers yet. Have you noticed Wayne hasn't talked about one freaking number yet? How many, don't lie, keep your hands up if you want to raise it. How many people want to buy and they don't even know what the hell it is yet? It's like, I don't know, but I don't know what it is, but I'm in. I'm part of the team. Man, I'm part of the team. Okay, here we go. So let's start the value gap. My job as a professional, as you can see with this financial house, is to build financial independence for your family and have a long-term relationship in doing that. My commitment as a professional is establish your wealth building objectives and then transform that blueprint into financial security into reality. If you look here at the bottom, the foundation of every financial plan, including a foundation of a house, is to make sure your protection's in place. Matter of fact, we're going to look at immediate cash needs and long-term income protection needs in an event that either one of you were to pass away. See, guys, you can have the most perfect financial plan together, and we're going to have one. Wait until you see the numbers. But if an untimely death occurs, your whole family will be in a tailspin. See, financial game plan is important, and we're going to do that. And we're going to be a lot of fun, relationship building, all the stuff I've been talking about. But if you pass away next week, I don't want to show up and say, talk to your wife or your spouse, whatever, and say, remember that talk we had? Sorry, but nothing's right. It's done. See, we want to take care of you if you die too soon or if you live too long. We want to take care of both sides. Make sense? You know, the debt area, God bless you, is no challenge. We're going to skip over that. And then we're going to end up with the savings management to make sure you have a safe and comfortable retirement and your other future goals and dreams. Matter of fact, the numbers look so great, Bob, that the most exciting part of today's program is when I get to your goals and dreams. You're going to have enough cash to have fun traveling, doing the things you've dreamt about in retirement. I can't wait to show you those numbers here in the next few minutes. But the cool thing about it is you're going to have a comfortable retirement and you're going to have fun in retirement. Okay? Everybody catching the value? I'm raising it. I'm hammering this forward because this is so important. So let's start with the savings management first, and then we're going to end up with the foundation last. Here we go. On this page here to the left, you can kind of see that this is called the 3 fundamental counts that a person needs. This is not a one-night project. In the future, we will help you establish those 3 account systems for you and your family. But we're going to do this in stages. You'll notice I still haven't got to any numbers, have you? I'm setting the tone before I get to the logic. People buy emotionally, they back up their purchase logically. Here we go. Stage 1, we're going to establish that Roth IRA that you had indicated last week to me. Remember, $400 a month for a long-term investment strategy. Stage 2, we're going to establish a fund account for your goals and dreams. I can't wait to share with you about the fund account. And then stage 3, we'll do that rollover for $50,000 because I got some numbers here that are very impressive. So you're going to see in the next few pages how this all comes together. This is one of my favorite pages that deals with saving for retirement. You notice here at the top, your current income is $9,000 a month. If you look at 80% of that, that's $7,200 per month that you'll need if you were to retire today. But there's a there's a number called inflation, which is really high right now. We're just using 2.5%, if you can see here to the right. At 2.5% in 31 years, when you're ready to retire, you're going to need $15,000 a month in order to retire. Okay? So we have a 31 to 34 year project. I'm going to work with you every step of the way to get that accomplished. Today, you're at $82,000. If you look at your 401k and that $50,000 rollover, it adds up to 82 grand. Now, the question this morning, how much money do you have to have 31 to 34 years in the future? And the answer is $3,074,000. Now, before you fall off your chair, I got some good news. I'm going to show you how that's done. We work on a project together from point A to point B. Those lines that just came up are when we do reviews. So it's required for me to meet with you at least 1 to every 2 years, every step of the way to take that journey, because we are starting at 82,000, but we got to build this to 3 million. That's why long-term relationships are crucial and annual reviews are crucial to get you from point A to point B. Matter of fact, here's the best news of all. You can accomplish that goal of 3 million, but based on what you're putting away, which is over $700 a month, which 514 of that's personal, you're only $164 short. Now that should make you feel good right off the bat, because remember you said you could do 400, which is $200 a piece. You're only $164 light to reach financial independence. Are you excited? Absolutely. Matter of fact, this is what a picture looks at. You can't come to speak with a financial advisor without seeing some numbers. So if you look at the numbers, once you reach your 3 million, one of you are retired, the other's still working because of the age difference. Remember over here to the left, the husband's 67, the wife is 64. She's still working, making 10 grand a month. The shortfall is 54.80, so there's the total amount of money you need per month. When you both retire, right, you're financially independent, you'll have 3.2 million. Now the income is at 0. We're not even counting on Social Security here. Isn't that cool? There's no pension. There's 16,000 a month, and then we'll inflate that by 2.5% every year so you can live out your golden years of retirement. Now, this is where it becomes fun. You'll notice here real quick, we're taking care of the shortfall, the 3 million. We're doing that with $164 a month that we're putting into your Roth IRA to make up that $331,000 shortfall. Everybody catching? Now, here's the fun part, John and Mary. Here's where it becomes fun. Watch closely. Here comes the value gap. Watch closely. The fun part about it is you said you could do 400 a month. 164 is all you need to become financially independent. But John and Mary, do you just want to be sitting around at 67 and that's all you can do is just live? That's what financial independence is. That's enough money to pay for your bills. But don't you want to have fun? You said you could do 400. So what if we took the other, right, 164 away from 4? That leaves $236 that we could put away to establish a fund account for you. The good news is we're going to put that in a Roth also. You know why? So that way it could be a tax-free fund account. We're not going to commingle it. Some of you guys do that, by the way. You'll put all your Roth in one area. No, I have several different Roths. I have their fun Roth for $236 a month, and I got their serious Roth, which is $164 a month for financial independence. I don't commingle them because I don't want them touching the 3 million. They can touch the 480,000. How would it feel? Here's the emotion, the value gap. John, Mary, isn't it gonna be exciting that when you're retired at 67, if you just drew off 5% of that 480,000, that's 25 grand. There's going to be one challenge. What kind of vacation are you going to do for 25,000 every year? I'm just curious. See, get them involved. They'll start looking and go, man, I could travel to Europe. Yeah, I might be able to get that bass boat I'm thinking about doing, right? You can start having fun. They start talking about their bass boat and their travel and all the fun stuff they're going to have in retirement, right? It makes the emotion go to the top. And then they just say, I got to have this. Is everybody catching? I mean, are you feeling it? Yeah. So that extra 480 is going to become fun. Step 3. Oh, by the way, we need to roll over that 50,000. You think they're going to question you about your 50 grand rollover? Just ask your RVP or your leader to put a rocking proposal together and they'll simply move that 50,000. Make sense? That was just like an afterthought. We're going to put all this together. Oh, by the way, let's move that 50 grand. You know why why would they say no to the $50,000 rollover? If they say no to the $50,000 rollover, they just said no to their fund account. See, I mean, people go, Wayne, how do you get rollovers all the time? I just talk about fun stuff. And they go, oh yeah, I need to move that 100,000 with you. What do I need to do? Oh, whatever you think's best for me, Wayne. I mean, they don't even look at the proposal. I'm like, here we go. This is what we're going to do. Oh, yeah, I trust you. Go ahead and just do it. Unbelievable, right? Okay, another subject. We're going to help you every step of the way until you reach total financial independence. I say that probably a dozen times. Financial independence. It even sounds good. People are like fired up about it. One area, as we wrap up today, is life insurance. Life insurance is the foundation. It's probably boring, but if you look on the screen, John, you make a monthly income, right? You said your need is at least 75%. 75% of your income is $3,700 a month, right? 75% of Mary's is $3 grand a month for 20 years. Based on those calculations, this is the provided amount of insurance you would need to provide that income. But we want to pay off the mortgage, the debt, and the funeral. So if we add these two together, that's $688,000 on Mary and $755,000 of coverage on you, John. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's just like complaining about $3 million being too much money when you're ready to retire. That's the coverage you need today, just like you need $3 million in the future. So here's how we put this together for you. You'll notice these lines, and I draw it right on their FNA. My job is to build that $3 million need that you have at retirement. Every step of the way, we're going to monitor that. And I put a line right like this. Meanwhile, as we get closer to the intersection there in the middle, we're going to analyze your need for insurance. So even though I'm going to go over some prices with you in just a few minutes, my main objective is to get that price point down as you get older. Okay, so we call this the theory of decreased responsibility. Your need today is a lot larger than it will be in the future when you're self-insured. So here's the numbers. $176 a month total, which is $107 on John and $69 a month for Mary. But I got some good news for you. That 176 total actually moves you from average to perfect. Anybody grab what I just did there? Remember last week you said you could do average. What was the commitment?
Wow.
The commitment was actually $125 each for a total of $250 a month. That's $73 less. Are you gonna have any problem picking up a check there? I picked on Telus
Not
here a
even
while for 176.
Nope.
You no, right? It's like, where'd I sign, right? Are they gonna do price shopping with you? Oh, you saved them $73. You see what we're doing here? There's psychology in this. Oh my gosh. It's like, this is, I'm weird. Okay, so here's what happens. We review and overcome objections. You address the value of the entire package. $400 per month in Roth IRAs is going to accomplish two things: your financial independence of $3 million and your fund account. The 176 per month gives you the perfect protection you need instead of average. The benefits are you got a step-by-step financial independence program to get to 3 million and have over 480,000 of tax-free money to just enjoy and have fun. And I can't wait, Aaron, in the future when we talk about all the fun you're going to have. And then, isn't it nice to know that when you lay your head on the pillow at night, you have perfect protection for your family? So, do you have any questions I might be able to answer for you?
Can I hug you around the neck?
I've actually had people go, no, when can we get started? I was like, well, now, right? So here comes the 3-box close. I learned this from Shane, actually, not the 3-box close. I'll take credit for this, but I learned from Shane that I can't remember the numbers. Aaron, you probably got them memorized. People remember, I think 60% of what they see, but they only remember what, 15 or 20, maybe not even that, what they hear. Primerica is a visual process. So when you're doing the 3-box close, it's visual. You have to have a yellow pad or some sexy PowerPoint if you're doing it on Zoom. And I want you to write down 3 boxes. Okay, 3 boxes. Can everybody see that? 3 boxes, okay? Here it comes up. The PowerPoint makes it look pretty, but Aaron, you'll appreciate that. Mine's just sloppy. 3 boxes. Here we go. So here, 3-box close. So, well, here's what I suggest we do. There's a golden nugget right there. My biggest problem in the early days, Bob, is I used to say, so what do you think? Sound good? You want it? That is wrong. You are here to lead them to the promised land. You are not here to ask them what they want. Remember that example of my good buddy that showed Franklin Templeton and all through all the examples? No. You're the professional. So here's what I do, Aaron. I go, Aaron, well, this is what I suggest we do. First thing we need to do is do electronic app, health questionnaire. That's what goes in box number 1. Then we're going to collect that 176 total for both for a conditional receipt. God forbid if something happened to you next week, conditionally speaking, there is a portion of that that will be guaranteed. God forbid if something happened to you tomorrow. Because we don't know our date of death. If we knew when we were going to die, we would just take out the life insurance the day before.
Right.
Or an hour before. Would you agree with that? So the electronic application is how everything starts. Then we go into what we call the approval stage. That's where the company will approve you. And as you can see, as we went through this whole entire program with you, that's when you'll accept it. Both parties have to accept it in order for it to be approved. See, I can give you numbers of 176 like it shows to the left, but by golly, I don't work in underwriting. If you have a health challenge, it might not be 176. Okay, you might not even get approved. And sometimes I have people pause right in the middle of this and go, God, I hope we get approved. I don't think there'd be a problem. Have you seen people not get approved? I go, yeah, I've seen people not get approved. Man, it's like, you see, they're like wanting it before they even sign up for the electronic app. Make sense? And then third, that's when it becomes active. When it becomes active, that's when we put your total package together, which is $576.98 per month. That's the 176 for the perfect protection and $400 a month for the Roth IRA. And then, of course, we're going to do the rollover today. See how that works? So a picture is worth 1,000 words again. You're looking at the 3-box close by saying 60% they visually see it. I do a health questionnaire for approval. Company says yes. It could be 30 seconds, could be a couple months. I don't know how long it'll take for them to approve it. But once the approval goes, then we'll activate your total package. You notice how I wrote total package? This is a total package deal. Everything. Can you go grab your driver's license for me? Did you notice that I didn't once say, do you want it? I explained visually with the 3-box close, and then I end it by saying, Bob, can you go grab your driver's license for me? And I'll look down usually. If I'm on Zoom, I'll just say, can you go grab your driver's license for me? Because I don't want to look at their eyeballs. They make me nervous. So can you go grab your driver's license for me? And then all of a sudden I'll peek like this. I go, good, they're gone. They went and got it. Okay, so, right? Any comments on this before we do a recap and be done?
No, I'm just fired up.
Isn't this easy? Here's what I suggest we do. Let's fill out an electronic application. You know what we did for our brand new people that are just starting to go on their own? We use this one slide. And I go, 3-box close. And they would go, well, here's what I suggest we do. See how that works? And because otherwise you just ramble, you keep talking because you think they're just going to jump out and get the checkbook. That's not what happens. You need to force them. Well, here's what I suggest we do. Everybody grasp this? So you hit the apply button and rock and roll. So hints. It could take a couple months to approve someone for life insurance. Make sure that you attend a business overview that we conduct. You know, some of you guys don't conduct those. Maybe an educational seminar. Schedule them for an investment review with a specialist if you're not securities licensed. And always pick up referrals. And one of my biggest pet peeves, always get the money. Are you kidding me? People, our human nature is to procrastinate. Close the deal. Close it. You know, if you're good, you'll say, hey, it'll take a couple months. Why don't we just activate your Roth in September? Because everything should be done by then. So let's go ahead and do the Roth, get that set up. That'll activate in September. That gives you a couple months to budget for it. But right now we need that 173. Let's get going. Always, always get the money. And then my favorite part, you know, I think is what I said on the other one. I always end. I should have put it here at the bottom. It's not there, but go ahead and say it again one more time. After we're all done, I shake hands and they get the money. I say, welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. I can't wait to see all your dreams come true. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. That's what I got this morning. Any questions?
Guys, if you have any questions, leaders, anybody want to pipe up feedback or questions from leaders? If you have anybody on your team that needs something, we've got Coach Wayne right here. The greatest thing we could possibly do to honor and respect is to come out of here and take massive action. This is unbelievable. Any leaders have anything to say?
Just everybody understand that you cannot over promote a training like this. You cannot over promote it. I think that who was it that mentioned Spencer and Destiny? They watch this every day. If it's watched till it's internalized, practice, drill, rehearse, and master, this training will change your life. Thank you both. Thank you, everybody. Aaron, Wayne, all of you.
Thank you, Bob, for your input.
Aaron,
Go ahead.
Aaron, I've been here 15 years. I want Wayne to take over all my stuff, or at least learn this stuff and help my clients out.
I've given away all my secrets now, but you got to crock pot it. I wish it could happen overnight. But if you're doing a 50 by 50 base shot or a 30 by 30, like I said, minimum, boy, man, I tell you, can you imagine? It gives me goosebumps to think of all the activity you're going to have. Do you realize how busy you're going to be if you did this right? It won't be busy for the first year, Aaron, but if you start to crock pot and you meet with people every 1 to 2 years, and then they start to become part of your family, they're part of the team. Remember about the commitment. See, if you're 100% committed, everything I shared with you works. But if you don't follow up, then you're just a pile of crap. Okay. What's going to happen is they're going to look at you and go, that was just a sales pitch.
That's right.
See, I follow up. I follow up and talk to them. I work with them. I talk about, we're getting closer. I got your financial needs analysis updated. We're getting closer. Had a little hiccup last year, but we're getting closer. I love it. Thank you, Craig, for that input, by the way. Thank you very much. I just want to see all of us win, as we conclude here. I want to make sure we're, courtesy to everybody's time here this morning, but my motivation here is when you think about life in general, I mean, it always bothers me, and maybe I don't know if this is a good way to end, and I apologize, but it always bothers me when people don't make money in Primerica. You're doing it wrong. You got to change. You got to get better. I mean, I used to stay up late at night while I was crying. I know you're laughing. Maybe you're not laughing because maybe you're one of those people that cried. But I cried and said, I can't understand why I can't get these people to buy. I have such emotion for this company and how great it's changed my family tree. We're financially independent. You understand that? You're going to be part of my family's legacy because you're following me. And if you're not there yet, you go, because of this great company I work for, we're going to build financial independence together. It's going to be so exciting every step of the way as I learn more information and learn more about how to build wealth. I'm going to keep passing that on to you and your kids' kids. As long as God allows me to keep breathing, I'm going to do everything I can. And I'm going to pass that on to my next generation of advisors and keep this rolling here until you have legacy. And that's what we're talking about, legacy with your family. Has this been good?
Yes.
Unbelievable. Anybody else want any feedback? Drop anything great. I know we want to hug them around the neck. I know we do. Maybe just, I do.
Yeah, I just packed up all my stuff so I can come and move over there with Wayne because I need this.
I'm in trouble now. My whole week's going to be full. Oh boy.
Thank you so much. This was so good.
All
Guys,
right.
show your gratitude if you can. Show your gratitude. This is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. You guys have a blessed weekend. Be safe. And
We love you, Coach.
can't wait to see the future here with each and every one of you as you go across the stage and make money and go become financially independent.
Coach
Amen.
Wayne, there's going to be that day when each and every one of us have multiple generations and somebody's going to look at you and say, you were the guy. Thank you so much for taking that shot and pouring out. And, when we talked in the Bahamas, you didn't have to take any of this seriously. You didn't have to care. But that's just who you are. And we see you and we're grateful to you and your team because every time you guys speak, you deliver in such a huge way. But that ripple effect impacts us so much. It impacts, I think about my niece and nephews, and I think about the life they're going to have because of your willingness to pour out. So thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you. Can't wait to see you guys around the corner. Okay.
Love you guys.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody. Let's
Take care.
win.
All right. Bye.